Mira a la izquierda. Mira a la derecha. ¿Qué ves? ¿Dónde estás? In a world that seems to change daily, what will you do next? Welcome to the Next Steps Show with Peter Vasquez, a starting point for discussion y un poco de dirección. Negro está rápido. Okay, Bob, I couldn't help myself. See, join me here.
I know, it's okay.
Pero baila conmigo, Papa. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to my intro right now, wherever you are, stop for a second. It's midweek, and let that stress, shake it off, dance it off. Bob, you're not dancing.
No, I'm not, because what happens is I get tangled up with the headphone cord and it starts to choke me. Then I turn different colors and I fall down on the floor.
That's pretty funny. You turned to purple.
Funny for you while you're watching. I'm choking to death. See the things that I do to bring this show to you folks?
Absolutely. And you are definitely an individual that cannot be stopped bringing, the voice of liberty to people, man. I mean, you went from I started con WYSL and now I'm on 6 signals. Oh my gosh. Talk about growth. That's the American way.
Peter Vasquez, what are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World.
Hey, check this out. I do want to bring this up because I find this so disturbing that in our nation, here in the United States in 2025, we're idolizing evil, Bob. I mean, it trips me out. Listen to this statement real quick, right? You will never be forgotten. I'm going to hold off the name here for a second, right? Because this individual shares a birthday with Charlie Kirk, and someone actually posted and says, oh my God, he shares a birthday with Charlie Kirk.
So we're not talking about Charlie Kirk here.
We're not talking about Charlie Kirk. So listen, you will never be forgotten. As your daughter once said, your life changed the world by forcing it to confront the illness called American structural and institutional racism. See, the devaluation of human beings with black and brown skin. Mira, can you say Van Boezen's crisis more than anything? They're saying that about George Floyd, and then they put this throw-up meme, right, because he shared the birthday with Charlie Kirk. And who does that? Well, I know the left.
There's people out there who will do that. I mean, this is why we have Antifa. This is why we have buying large mansions, also known as BLM, Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter. It's just incredible that they lionize some guy like this, a drug addict, violent felon,
who held a gun to a pregnant woman's belly.
Yeah, this is the role model that we are holding up to for our young people. No.
I am so beside myself that I just, I was in a great mood, and then I saw that post, and I'm like, you know what? I just can't anymore. These people are out of their minds. Pero you know what, though? Like I said many times, y como dije yesterday, the solution to these problems, it's told. We have it. Not only can you vote to change some of these jokers that are pushing these kind of things, but you yourself can speak against it. Stand up for the truth, because it's not about you. It's about America. It's about our kids and our grandkids and our other grandkids. Ladies and gentlemen, the lines are going to be open. 585-346-3000, 866-552-1009. And Mira, you're going to want to call today and listen carefully, because we've got a guy, where we're going to confront the collision of politics, principles, and the perception in the town of Irondequoit, New York. Yep, we had we had Andre Evans, right, running for supervisor in Irondequoit, and today we have the Republican candidate. Anthony Costanza, candidate for Irondequoit Town Supervisor. There is a Democrat running, but hey, like the left always does, they didn't respond. Anthony, bienvenido al Next Step Show, sir.
Mira, gracias mucho.
Ay, mira, ¿vamos a hablar español the whole show?
Hablo italiano, pero italiano y español son muy simili.
Yeah, very. No, I when I was stationed in Germany, yes, I spent time traveling to Italy because, who wouldn't, right? Correct. And some of the other countries there. And I survived 3 days there speaking Spanish. Although, man, when they started talking Italian, but you want to hear something funny?
Sí.
When I go to Puerto Rico, they start talking Spanish, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, let's back up, start English again, because, boy, they talk really fast, and I'm like, boy, I thought I knew some Spanish.
If we slow it down, the root words are all the same, so I appreciate the invite, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and I would be remiss, or it would be unbecoming of a good host to not mention, sir, that you had an honorable service in the United States Air Force and retired as a lieutenant colonel. Sir, thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. in this nation, and I'm glad you're bringing it out.
Yes.
Man, I'll tell you, we need more people who just understand God, country, and family. Anthony Costanza, can you tell us all about you, who you are,
Sure.
where you came from? But Omira, more importantly, what made this Anthony Costanza today that makes you the best option for a Irondequoit Town Supervisor?
Sure. Thank you. Basically, my upbringing, I was an Italian immigrant. Both my folks are Italian. My mom was from Italy. My father was already in the States. I lived in Italy and America, a little bit of each growing up until the age of 10. Then we decided to permanently stay in America from 10 on. And I was raised with good old school immigrant ethics. Work hard, don't cheat, don't lie, get a good education, and whatever you want in life, you can go get it if you're willing to put in the time and effort. So that was the foundational pieces for my life, and that translated into a very good career in the military because those same foundational morals that were instilled in me by my parents resonated very well within the military.
Very nice. And you're a dad, I believe?
That's correct.
And if I understand correctly, you're soon to be a stepdad.
That's correct.
As well. Explain that to us.
So when I got involved in this race, it just happened to be at a time where immigration is a hot topic. Well, I can speak first and foremost to immigration because number one, I'm an immigrant. And then number two, my fiance is trying to get to America. And we're doing it the way the law says. We have to apply for a K-1 visa. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of money. And so we're just waiting for that process to conduct itself through the U.S. immigrations folks. And, there's a right way of getting into the country and there's a wrong way. And I'm just trying to be a role model for those people that think that it's okay to come in illegally, that there's a process here, okay?
Yeah.
Via asylum, via K-1, you name it. But so yes, I'm going through that. I can't wait for her to get here via the approved mechanism, get married, and then I'll have one son right now, who's my birth son, and then she has one son, and so we'll be a very small version of the Brady Bunch.
Ah, very nice, very nice. Bob knows I had five. Two of my own as a single dad, and my wife with her 3 kids. But you know what? We raised our family. There was no step in there at all. We were just the Demo Vasquez family, 3 mother-in-laws. So don't forget to bring your mother-in-law and your mom.
So just imagine, Tony, 3 mothers-in-law under one roof.
Yeah, that was
where he was living.
Right. I have a very big house that somehow got really small really quick, but I appreciate you following the right steps. My brother is doing the exact same thing with his wife, but she's in the Dominican Republic. Actually, I had his wife on here. She was here legally on a visa, visited, and they have to say, even though it can be lengthy, they appreciate the process because they know once they get here, once they get their citizenships, they can probably say, we are Americanos, right? We stand with the God, country, family values. So thank you for that.
Roger.
So you're running for Irondequoit Town Supervisor.
Correct.
And one of your opponents on the Democrat side seems to have decided to kind of highlight some issues that are really bizarre to me because he went after Andre, he went after you, but he seems to try to come out as a squeaky clean kind of guy, right? But let's just get right into it,
Sure.
sir. Tell us all about it because it was on June 23rd, 2025 that you were indicted by the then Monroe County DA, Sandra Doherty, right? What happened?
Well, and that's what everyone thinks. So that's the first thing that we need to correct out there is that I wasn't indicted. I provided you with the paperwork from the DA's office, and basically I was never indicted by the grand jury. Sandra Doherty took it upon herself to issue a prosecutor's information. So unfortunately, the news media picked up on this word indictment, and words actually matter because an indictment is when the grand jury finds probable cause to move forward with a certain action. They did not find that. That's why, as it stands before you, this is a prosecutor's information, which was not ordered by the grand jury. So first and foremost, we need to dispel that rumor because that didn't happen. As we speak, my opponent has received a cease and desist letter from my lawyer saying that he should remove all literature and stop making references to the fact that I was indicted because that is an absolute fallacy.
So can I just point something out here too? I got this internal memo from John Perticone aimed at you, Tony, and there's language in here. I understand how you want to distract people from your pending indictment. A pending indictment is not an indictment. No. Can we just say that?
No.
And I'm glad you brought that up because, see, words matter.
That's
and
correct.
I realized
But
over
that's
my...
trickery, though. You want to talk about bamboozleness, Peter?
Yeah, with a V, though. Remember, bamboozleness.
Oh, the bamboozle. I'm sorry.
Because bamboozleness is a used car salesman. What we're dealing with is people that are trying to destroy lives by a perpetuated type of lie, right? Where
Correct.
people who read headlines miss it. So what are the charges? Let's make sure everybody knows what we're talking about.
So the first charge is that they said that I'm looking at right here, is that official misconduct, that when I was the assessor, didn't have the authorization to adjudicate on my own home. And what's funny about that is you also have grand jury testimony in front of you from an official from New York State that I reached out to before I did anything with respect to my own home. When I reached out to the official from New York State, they absolutely told me that I, as the sole assessor in Irondequoit, was the only person authorized to make that change. And so how could I conduct official misconduct when it was in my job jar, per se, my span of duties to assess all homes in Irondequoit to include my own?
Ladies and gentlemen, see, that is Anthony Costanza. Actually, that is Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force, retired Anthony Costanza, candidate for the Irondequoit Town Supervisor. Lines are open, 585-346-3000, 866-552-1009. Mira, no cambie ese dial because, well, you know why. Peter Vasquez, see here on the Voice of Liberty. Hey, you don't want to miss the rest.
Yeah, just remember, folks, that a pending indictment is not an indictment. An indictment is not a conviction. So no crimes here, not even really an allegation of a crime. More to come here on Next Steps. WYSL, WLEA.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the Voice of Liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
There's always flag-waving fun happening at the legendary Robbie's Bar and Grill, just a chip shot north of Ladder Road in Greece. There's great selection of the coldest beer, great food, and feature drinks, entertainment, and respect for our service personnel, COs, first responders, veterans, and military and families. It's a party atmosphere that's family-friendly, too. Bring the gang and make North Greece great again with your friends at Robbie's Bar and Grill, just north of Ladder Road in North Greece. God bless America and God save New York.
Do you owe your honey a date night?
Last spot, and we have Keith.
Covered. Comic Relief 2025 is on Saturday, November 8th at the prestigious Country Club of Rochester, featuring nationally recognized clean comedian Dan Viola. 6 p.m. reception, 7 p.m. enjoy a remarkable meal, and at 8 p.m. start laughing. $95 ticket, $180 a couple. Go to yfcrochester.org/comic. That's yfcrochester.org/comic.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the Voice of Liberty.
Program brought to you today and every day by youthforchristRochester.org, as well as Flower City Collision. Get it done right, get it done by a veteran. Here's Peter.
Mina, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. See, Proverbs 10, verse 9 says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. And that is the purpose of the Next Step Show. And Anthony, see, asking you to join us today so we can talk about these things, sir.
For sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force, retired Anthony Costanza, candidate for Irondequoit Town Supervisor. You are on the Republican and conservative lines, correct?
Just the Republican.
Just
the Conservatives endorsed neither party this year.
Oh, really? They didn't kind of favor a Democrat today? Because it just seems that they do that every once. I'm just saying, I mean, hey, to each his own. That's determined. We all serve it as pleasure. But boy, for a conservative party. Anywho, sir, what is, because your opponent on the Democrat side is Andre Evans, right? The current supervisor, but it's also the guy that's bringing all these allegations against both of you, which is John Perticone.
Correct.
I've invited him to come on the show. He's more than welcome to call in. I've mentioned that over and over to them. What is his agenda? Why is he making all these allegations all of a sudden when he's been on the board for a while?
Right. So just to set the record straight, we also reached out to him to engage in a debate and wrote a very professional letter and received a very unprofessional letter back. And he quoted that debates are bogus. So I believe in debates, but onto your question. The reason why I believe that this is happening to me and to Mr. Evans is fear. So when you do illuminate things that are incorrect, people begin to fear you.
Keith.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So basically that is the catalyst for which I believe this is happening to me. When I took on the role of assessor on my 6th week in the job, I produced a 30-page report to show the board the illegalities that was going on within the assessor department and things of that nature.
Yep.
And I thought that I would be lauded for finding these things out and producing this to the board. And from that day forward, I became the black sheep in the town.
Man, I'll tell you. Keith, thank you for calling the Next Step Show.
Yes, the Democrats are all about fantasy. They never want to deal in and with reality. So I would suggest to Mr. Costanza that he use that tack. Any Democrat, it's very hard to get them to stand there and act, in this case, the Dem, this one, like a man and take hard questions. These Dems dodge reality all over the place.
So Mr. Keith, I have good news for you.
Go ahead.
I've been speaking and going door to door every night, and there have been a lot of Democrats that I've spoken to that after a 5, 10, or 15-minute conversation see the light and have come over to our side and realize that there are good and bad Democrats, there are good and bad Republicans, and just so you know, there's a couple out there that are willing to see the light and are supporting me. So let's at least acknowledge the ones that are doing their due diligence. Over to you, Mr. Keith.
You're talking what I'm going to call quickly the blue collar Dems, or where I'm from, the blue dog Dems down in the South. But they're a disappearing category. But I understand where you're coming from. It's very good. We're a Big Ten party, so I encourage you to reach out to everyone. I would also stress your military background, and that's my question. I want to ask about your rank, Lieutenant Colonel. I've heard that there are 10,000 lieutenant colonels in the U.S. military. In my various readings of the different branches, like with the Marines, Iwo Jima, and those terrible battles like Tarawa, lieutenant colonels predominate all over the place. Your rank is above that of major. And the question I'm asking, it seems that there's a high climb there to go from a lieutenant colonel to a full bird colonel, as they're called, and many, such as yourself, retire with that rank of lieutenant colonel. And because I love history, and that lieutenant colonel rank comes up all the time, everyone, and I mean that. What, pray tell, and I'm going to call it the barrier, that lieutenant colonels can't go up over that final climb and reach full colonel status? In closing, I mean,
sure.
Throughout all of my history readings, lieutenant colonels are all over the place, but sadly, I'm just saying it that way, they often end up retiring as a lieutenant colonel and not a full colonel.
Sure, the bar to make full bird colonel is very high. That is a true statement. What is also true is that a lot of lieutenant colonels, you become a lieutenant colonel right around your 20-year mark. So they're eligible for retirement. And I'll give you the situation in my case. I was on a glide slope to probably make full bird colonel based on the things that I was doing and the stratifications that I was getting within special operations. But in my situation, I went through a divorce, and the only way I was going to win custody of my son, which I did win 100% custody of my son, was to basically retire, because the court would not look favorably on an active duty person who's deploying all the time, giving them sole custody of that child. So everyone has a story, but you're absolutely right. The bar to get to 06 is higher than obviously making it to 05. I hope I answered your question sufficiently.
And I hope you win, and I politely would stress your military background. For a lot of people, that still counts for a lot, and I would really show people, as Mr. Vasquez and the doctor there stated, both of them, it's very good. Peter was in the service, in the Army, and all of you who served, I did not, I just didn't. But I really give heartfelt congratulations to you. You're very patriotic, I can tell from the inflection in your voice. And I would just in closing, gather all of your background, let the people in the town know where you're really coming from, and hopefully you come out the winner.
Thank you, sir.
Keith's line is open at 585-346-3000. You want to come in and join the conversation? Peter, go ahead.
You know, Anthony, from WHEC, right? You had, I'm going to quote you on an interview you had there. You said, when I began back in 2024, there were thousands of errors in assessment, including my property. You said you overpaid.
Correct.
Do you regret not recusing or transferring oversight of your own case?
So when I talked to New York State, they told me the prescribed way forward. And I used no discretion when I valued my house. So that's the difference here. And Irondequoit Code 20-6, there's a Part C section of it. And it says that an officer can make a decision, an official of the town can make a decision that affects a benefit to him or her. In any case, they would be found guilty if they did use discretion. And I did not use discretion. I used the numbers from an independent third-party appraisal. So basically, I didn't weigh in on my home like I weighed in on others. I used the professional opinion of a third party. And then this year, after the prosecutor's information was let, I paid another appraisal company to come in. And basically, I am $30,000 overvalued based on those appraisals. So I did what I was supposed to do, and I did it with no discretion, such that no one could say that I had bias in valuing the property of my own home.
Which is what leadership does.
Correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Anthony Costanza, Lieutenant Colonel, retired United States Air Force candidate for Irondequoit Town Supervisor. So you have you have testimonials on your website, sir.
Yes.
And one of them says he was a model public official. Government and citizens alike would benefit greatly from more people like him. He says he will have my vote, and you should strongly consider him giving him your vote as well. Sir, what form of transparency measures, right, as supervisor, would you institute to avoid these kind of conflicts in the future for anyone else?
Sure. So first and foremost, we have a FOIL system in New York State, okay? And so I'll give you a personal example. We've submitted probably 15 to 18 FOILs, and I think so far today we've gotten maybe two to three back. So stonewalling the people on facts and information is not a good thing. With respect to the assessments, I can tell you first and foremost is that I was open and forthright with people, just like the gentleman that wrote that testimonial. If things are wrong, it's incumbent upon us to use our acumen, our skills, and our experience to fix it, and not give the citizens a hard time. People that are in office are there to support the citizens. The citizens are paying your wage. You owe it to the citizens to do your job, to do it well, and not have an adversarial approach between government and the citizens.
I mean, take the politics out of it.
Correct.
Hey, check this out. See, another verified Irondequoit resident said, I endorse him without reservations and with the deepest confidence that his leadership will bring not only capability, but character to every role he inhibits. Sir, you stated, I categorically deny all allegations of wrongdoing. You also said, I executed my duties as the town of Irondequoit assessor within all laws and beyond reproach. You said these charges are 100% politically motivated. Sir, do you still stand by that statement?
Absolutely. They're ridiculous. And I'll give you an example. On July 29th, we filed a motion to dismiss based on insufficiency of the charging documents. Now, in most courts, there is no way that a motion would go unheard for the time that it has. The DEA brought forth these charges, and I've not been able to make headway with respect to my case. In my personal opinion, is because this will all come to a head, and I'll probably get this case dismissed after the election. This was a way to smear my name. I've never had so much as a parking ticket or a speeding violation in the last 25 years. And when people like myself fight for the 95% of the people and not the top 5% or 3%, you get a target on your back. But I'm here for the people. You, Mr. Vasquez, and myself, we put service before self when we joined the military. And I want to extend that attribute to leadership within government. And I want to run the supervisor position with that same mantra, that same tact. Service before self, put the people first. Oh, and I have something for you after the break.
All right, that sounds good. Mira, ladies and gentlemen, Proverbs 21 verse 3 says, to do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. Mira, we're on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, LinkedIn, X, all of them. Leave a message, engage, talk to me, 585-346-3000 or 866-552-1009. And those of you in the Southern Tier, mira, escucha, because these are the kind of conversations you should be having with your leadership as well. We'll be right back right here, see, on the Next Step Show from Peter Vasquez to conservative New Yorker on the Voz de Libertad.
WYSL, WLEA.
God bless America. WYSL. Avalon, Rochester, WLEA, WLEA FM, Hornell, New York.
On June 13th in the village of Bath Village Police Sergeant Cherasnowski and Officer Waite were dispatched to a report about an autistic juvenile who'd run away from home and onto the railroad tracks in the village of Bath. Bath police say recognizing the immediate dangers posed by being on the location of train tracks and near the water, both Bath officers instantly understood the urgency of locating the juvenile and getting that person to safety. Officers quickly searched the area. They located the juvenile. The juvenile had sustained an injury and was experiencing a medical emergency. The two Bath police officers provided immediate care and took turns carrying this juvenile out of the terrain. Then they got her to a state trooper who took her to an ambulance. Bath Village Hall is giving both officers a letter of commendation. Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Should turn out mainly clear, a little bit on the chilly side. Frost away from the lakes. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s on Thursday. Sunshine in the 50s. A little more frost Thursday night, Friday morning. On Friday itself, should see a slight increase in clouds. Temps near 60. Warm front will bring a shower chance on Saturday. 2 showers Sunday. Warmer this weekend near 70. I'm Rich Canilia for the Voice of Liberty.
Updike's Willow Ridge Quality Care Facility in Hornell is an adult home for the elderly and mildly disabled, offering 24-hour care and all the comforts of home. They have semi-private and private furnished rooms, all located on one floor, 5 dining areas with delicious home-cooked meals, also a conference room for private gatherings and meetings, located at 131 Hornell Street, Hornell. Call to arrange a tour at 607-324-5417 or visit their website, updikeswillowridge.com.
Cats, Halloween is just a shot away. It's time to pick your persona, and it's time to create your perfect costume. Alley Cat Boutique has everything you need to make your costume unique and complete. Capes, wands, tiaras, hats, jewelry, furs, and masks. Every accessory for the pirate, the princess, the mermaid, the queen, the showgirl, the fairy, the flapper, the gangster. You can create your own look. There's so much to choose from. Alley Cat Boutique is your local Halloween shop. Stop in. Open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 11:30 to 5:30. 5604 Big Tree Road, Lakeville, across from Minahan's. See you there, cool cat.
Do you owe your honey a date night? Youth for Christ Rochester has you covered. Comic Relief 2025 is on. Saturday, November 8th at the prestigious Country Club of Rochester, featuring nationally recognized clean comedian Dan Viola. 6 p.m. reception, 7 p.m. enjoy a remarkable meal, and at 8 p.m. start laughing. $95 ticket, $180 a couple. Go to yfcrochester.org/comic. That's yfcrochester.org/comic.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
For your exterior home improvement with high-quality workmanship, contact Callan Contracting. Locally owned, Callan's own installers will do it right. Callan specializes in asphalt and metal roofing, gutters, and siding. Fully insured, free estimates, serving Livingston and surrounding counties. Call Callan at 585-813-2761 or visit their website, callancontracting.com. Mention WYSL and save 5% off roofing or gutters.
WYSL. From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
It's a high school football doubleheader. And on Friday, York Pavilion hosts Avon with the winner taking the Class D League crown. Then on Saturday at Alfred, Hornell faces unbeaten Alexander Pembroke. Live coverage starts both nights at 6:40. So be sure to listen in on the Voice of Liberty.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the Voice of Liberty.
Yep. Mira, check this out. See, leadership is not proven when times are easy, ladies and gentlemen. It is proven when the world questions your integrity. Mira, I know that personally, see? And you choose truth over comfort, duty over pride, and service over politics. Ladies and gentlemen, in Studio C, because social media is hot, our lines are open. I have Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force retired, Anthony Costanza, candidate for Irondequoit Town Supervisor. There's been a lot of controversy there. Sir, thank you again for your time today. I could only imagine how busy you are.
Very busy, but it's a good busy. Like I said, our campaign is grassroots. It's door to door. When I'm done here, I'll head back to Irondequoit and I'll go back to 14609. I haven't finished canvassing and talking there and just engaging with people. Yeah. The bottom line is candidates don't walk door to door anymore for the most part. And I feel that our Time for Change movement is really resonating with people because people are sick of the status quo. People want change right now.
I'm willing to bet that John Perticone isn't out there knocking on doors.
I don't track
I know you don't know right now. You're probably not.
We focus on our fortes and our strengths, and that resonates with folks.
So, you know, I only made that little sly comment because I've been in politics enough to understand that that a lot of the people on the left, those Democrats running, they feel that they got it in the bag. They feel that places like Irondequoit, Rochester, New York, Pittsford, all these places that the voters there are just so... They're just disconnected that they'll vote Democrat no matter what, and that's dumbfounding to me. So right before break, you wanted to share something with us when we came back. I leave the floor to you, sir.
Sure. I want the people of Monroe County, all over your broadcast, and especially Irondequoit, to know that yesterday at the Chamber of Commerce, in an open forum in front of the Chamber of Commerce, I made a speech, and I'm willing to take a 10% pay cut in the supervisor's salary because one of the things that we've heard most of from the citizens of Irondequoit is the taxes are too high. I'm well trained in efficiencies, making sure that government spends as little as possible for the most return on investment. And I would be disingenuous if I didn't make that as a symbolic gesture to the people saying, hey, I'm going to make change. I'm going to be efficient, and it's going to start with my paycheck, and I'm willing to take a $10,000 pay cut right off the bat to show that I care about the Irondequoit citizens because they are the people that are first and foremost in this race.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force, retired. You know, you don't get to that rank easy. I worked for a general. I was enlisted. I considered OCS. If I didn't become a single dad and ended up having to leave, I probably would be an officer today. And the one thing that I know, 100% certainty, is that, well, you can't become a lieutenant colonel or really anything that requires DOD to look at your files by being... well, somebody who does illegal things. And the one thing that I've learned over the years is that people's bad behavior are consistent.
Correct.
And you don't seem to have any issues with that in the military.
What's funny...
You had a top secret clearance, right?
Yes, the TSSCI.
There you go.
And what's funny is, we're just going to state another fact here, is Mr. Perticone, when he was working with the unions, in 2008, I believe, the Department of Labor wrote him up for, I believe, over 9 violations, and on 6 of the 9 dealt with mismanagement of money. So it's funny how they're quick to throw spears at me. I've never been charged with anything. Well, I've been charged, but I haven't been found guilty of anything. And yet he has been found to be guilty of multiple things that aren't correct. Over the 4th of July weekend, he had incorrect signage that was inconsistent with Irondequoit law, and we caught him with that signage on video. Yeah. Sadly, the media didn't roll with it when we provided it to them.
Well, that's what we call here, again, bamboozling this crisis. As a matter of fact, I have MRC on here on a regular basis talking about how the media, especially mainstream media, which includes, right, some of your local stations, well, you know what? They pick and choose what they want to air, and a lot of it always seems to lean a little bit more on the left than balanced. So you have a platform. I want to shift from all this legal nonsense because, in my opinion, and I believe the opinion of my listeners, right, this guy, John Perticone, who won't even come on this show, right? That's what gets me. Well, listen, I've been when I ran for office, I went on all the, I was like the target for them. I'm like, listen, bring it on, let's talk. And they won't do that. Talk to us about your platform. Number one on there, you have something called fair and legal taxation.
Correct.
Now, before you answer and tell us about what that means and how you plan to make it, we hear rhetoric all the time. Okay, so what I want you to do is not only tell us how you're going to work with that, but what makes it different from any of the other rhetoric that we've heard over the last 100 years, really.
Sure. Well, a great example of how I find efficiencies going forward and how I want to lead Irondequoit is look at what I did in Irondequoit when I was the town assessor. From the year 24 to 25, when I was the department head, the assessor, I decreased the budget of that department by 11%. So I use the skills that I was taught via experience, via education, economies of scale, doing in-house the things that we are tasked to do. If you're accountable to do a job, why are we paying people to do the job and then subcontracting it out? So I want to take that thought process and apply it to all of government to make sure that they're efficient. Fair and equal taxation means that we are taxed in New York State and in the United States on an ad valorem basis, which means you are taxed based on the value of what you own. And so the people of Irondequoit own homes. They are residents, and they are taxed based on the value of that home. Having fair taxation starts with having the assessment be correct. Mm-hmm. Because from my statistical studies in that report that I produced on the 6th week of my job, I found that low and medium income homes and homes of that value were overpaying and were overassessed, and homes over $500,000 to $600,000 were underassessed. So we're putting a tax burden on the people that need the help the most. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I will make no qualms about the fact that I represent the 95%, not the 5%.
And I'm glad you said that, sir. I really do. Because it just seems that 5% almost across every issue, especially those that are damaging culture, right, seems to be destroying culture.
Well, Irondequoit has been known for decades, as it's been told to me, as a place where it's basically a good old boys club. Yeah. If you put it in a permit and you know the right people, you get things done. I've had folks that have told me stories of their businesses where from cradle to grave, it took 20 years from the time they had an idea to implement their business. I won't name names, but we can't operate like that. Irondequoit is basically still stuck in the 90s, and we need to move forward. We need to invest in infrastructure. We need to develop the natural resources that we have. We have a lake, a river, and a bay, and this is the only town I've ever been to that has such natural resources that hasn't taken advantage and developed those finite, beautiful resources. Because as you know, water attracts money.
Yeah, it does. Let's talk a little bit about some of the cultural issues, right? Because Irondequoit, actually, did you know that Irondequoit, you're familiar with your town, at one point came all the way to Norton Street. And it was interesting because Norton Street that goes from St. Paul all the way right into Irondequoit, right over by the bay, right up to the middle of that road then it got pushed back to Eastridge Road. The city has a huge influence in the town of Irondequoit. The city and everything that comes with it has influenced policy in there from DEI right, to all these other crazy culture destroying types of initiatives. Sir, how can you combat that in a town that is, that is going to continue to be riddled by, some of the viruses that people like Hocus Pocus put out on...
Right. So just so you know, Irondequoit still goes all the way up to Empire Boulevard. There are parts of Irondequoit that have been long forgotten for years. I was on Tarrington, I think it's Tarrington Road or Tarrington Drive just the other day, off of Shelford, speaking to people, and they don't get the same services that they do if they live on, this quote unquote better side of Irondequoit. Irondequoit is the most diverse town in all of Monroe County because of the fact that we have multimillionaires that are living on Rock Beach Road all the way up to Norton, right?
Yeah.
And left to right, we have Latinos, we have Mexicans, we have Asians, we have whites, we have African Americans. We have everything in Irondequoit. We are a diverse town, and with the most diversity and socioeconomic diversity, I would say, in all of Monroe County. Oh, and by the way, just so you know, we are the most highly taxed town in all of Monroe County based on gross median income.
Yes, it is.
That's not a stat that you want to put high on the wall.
Gary Stout on social media, ladies and gentlemen, he said, sounds like a wrap-up smear. Gary, you're going to have to call the station, see, and kind of expound on that a little bit for our guests. Mira, no te vayas, sí, because in studio, yo tengo the Honorable Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force retired, Anthony Costanza, candidate for Irondequoit Town Supervisor. Mira, soy yo, Peter Vasquez, sí, tu conservative Nuyorican, aquí en La Voz de Libertad. I'll be right back. Pick up that phone. Get that dialing number finger ready. See, we got to hear from you.
Talk to the candidate, 585-346-3000, 585-346-3000, 866-552-1009, out of the local calling area.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
Tim digs dogs, and cats too, but cats don't care. That's why Tim Cole's the go-to guy for feeding, treating, and spoiling your critters. Tim's got what you and your furry friends need at Avon Feed and Supply. No need for mail order or big box. Store bright ideas, get one-on-one knowledge and experience, and the best prices too on pet food, snacks, toys, chews, and more. Avon Feed and Supply, just west of the Circle in the village of Avon.
Hey, if you like history and you like airplanes, the National Warplane Museum in Geneseo, New York is the place to go. Tours, exhibits, events, vintage aircraft, and more. Visit nationalwarplanemuseum.com for more details.
Youth for Christ Rochester now has skills programs for middle school boys. Our God's Girls program is now in 3 city schools. Help us by registering for Comic Relief 2025 on November 8th at the Country Club of Rochester. Go to YFC.org/comic.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the Voice of Liberty.
And the program brought to you, thank you very much, by youthforchristrrochester.org, as well as Flower City Collision, veteran-owned, get it done right, Peter Vasquez.
Yep, soy yo, conservative Nuyorican. You know how much that title that I carry irritates some of my friends? You know that they've called me a white man trapped in a Hispanic's body just because I believe in God, country, family, just because, even though I'm a 9th grade high school dropout, right? Because all I ever heard growing up was what you have in front of you was all that you're ever going to have. So I'm like, pa que caramba do I want to go to school for? Although today I hold a master's degree and I'm actually considering a doctorate. Can you imagine, Bob? You won't be the only doctor here.
I would like that.
I like it.
I welcome it.
The Honorable Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force retired, Anthony Costanza, right? He is your Republican candidate, right? You're for the people candidate in the
Mike Hennessy.
Supervisor's race. Sir, we've got a caller, and I'm going to kind of pause for a second because this guy I've got so much respect for.
Sure.
Like if this guy said, Peter, I need you to come and support me and your life may be at risk, I won't hesitate to support him. That is the Honorable Mike Hennessy, Executive Director of Youth for Christ, that is bringing people, not just people, Anthony, kids, right, from this neighborhood of crime. And we're going to talk crime here in a second, right, to a life of prosperity, God, country, and family. Mike Hennessy, host of Good News Talk, right here on the Voice of Liberty. Thank you for calling the Next Step Show.
Thank you, Mr. Hennessy.
Hey, hi, Anthony. Nice to almost meet you, Peter. I'm just going to call to hear you introduce me once in a while. It just helps my ego. Listen, I'm an Irondequoit resident. I had not done a lot of investigation into this situation, Anthony. I got to apologize for that. When I saw that the former DA, Dorley, has she actually filed the charges against you? Is that right, or did I get that wrong?
Correct.
Well, it's actually what's called a prosecutor's information, Mike.
Okay.
It's not a formal charge.
Okay. Now it goes back to what I heard earlier. It was a pending indictment.
Yeah.
That's what's the pending indictment, Bob, right?
No, actually,
everybody's got a pending indictment hanging over them, right?
I'm going to say something that is a little out of character for me right now. That was a quote from John Perdicone's response letter for a request for a debate. He referred to a pending indictment, which is not pending. It's not pending at all. And I'm sorry to say this because I have always liked Sandra Dorley, but Sandra Dorley is no longer the DA, and she resigned and left in disgrace.
Yes,
I'm sorry it pains me to say that, Mike, but that as far as I'm concerned, that taints this prosecutor's information.
Yep. And let me add here real quick, because this is important, because a lot of this misinformation is coming from the left. It's coming from John Perdicone directly. Let me say this. John Perdicone, I'm sure 100% that you or someone in your camp is listening to me. I am going to invite you to a debate. Right? I'm opening up the air mics, right? For you, for Andre, and for Mr. Costanza to come here to the WYSL. You know what? I'll go to you if that's even possible. See? And I will hold a debate. Fair and balanced para ti, senor, because you're making a lot of accusations and then you're hiding behind, well, a lot of people and a lot of nonsense. Sir, be a leader or get out of the way. You have a quote you want to share, sir?
Yeah, this was sent to me many moons ago, I think in June of the campaign by one of our constituents. It says, nowadays, exposing evil is considered more evil than those who actually do evil. And we're here to rout out evil. I'm here to rout out corruption. And like I said, I'm going to say it again. I'm here for the 95% of the people. If you're working week to week in Irondequoit and you're barely able to pay your bills, I'm the guy that's going to be fighting for you. And I'll be fighting for you. Doesn't matter what party you're from. Once I get elected, I'm elected as a supervisor for all people. So I just want everyone to know that.
2025 crime.
Mike, you got anything more to get?
Oh, I thought we hung up. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, when I heard why they came after you, that you were looking at the whole assessment and realizing that the moderate income homes were being over assessed and the high income homes were being under assessed. It made all the sense in the world why they came after you.
Sure.
And you got my vote.
If you email me at www.irondequoitfirst.com, I'll produce the briefing that I produced on my 6th week of the job, and you can see what I said more than a year ago before I had any intentions of running. So over.
That's Irondequoit1st.com. And they're telling
yes,
okay,
1ST.
Not great. Spelled out first. Thanks, Mr. H. Appreciate that very much. And by the way, much like The View, we have an attorney that watches everything that I say, and the attorney is me. And that was not accurate what I said about Sandra Dorley. She did not resign. She retired.
She retired.
She stepped down, whatever you want to say, but she's no longer the DA. And under circumstances that are sad.
It's going to be very interesting, gentlemen. I have a hearing tonight in Webster on my case, and they've delayed, moving my motions forward. So I'm hoping that the new DA, Brian Green, who's also from Irondequoit, does the right thing, and we'll see how things go. But let's give him a chance to make things right, and we'll go from there. Over.
I would love to see someday, right? So if I ever become like governor, I can wave a wand and change things. School board, judges, and offices like the DA will never run on a political ideology. As a matter of fact, I would forbid it. You have to run on what you bring to the table,
right,
and experiences and so forth. Well, we talked about the debate. Let's talk violent crimes here for a minute, because like I mentioned before, you're borderlining Rochester.
Correct.
You can't wake up any given day here and not see that there was a murder on the streets just blocks away from Irondequoit, right? As a matter of fact, they're saying that Irondequoit's violent crime index of 14.5% is much lower than the city's 45.5%. But I have trouble trusting these numbers.
Well, it was just a week and a half ago on Eastridge Road. We had a man died. They got thrown through a plate glass window.
No, wait, which side of Eastridge Road? Because you only have half the side.
Correct. But this was on the Irondequoit side.
Yeah.
Thrown through a plate glass window, and I believe it lacerated his liver, and he ended up dying, unfortunately. So my condolences to his family. But I believe there was a speakeasy that was open after hours, serving alcohol. Probably should have never even been there. But unfortunately, a situation happened. Something escalated, and the bottom line is someone died, and that's uncalled for.
John Perticone, a debate here in WYSL, WLEA. Peter Vasquez will be balanced with you, sir. Come on my show. Have a debate. Sir, we're getting down to the last few minutes. I want to hit one more plank, and then I'm going to give the mic for you to be able to tell listeners whatever it is that you want to tell them. See?
Thank you.
But one of the planks is integrity and accountability. You said protect your rights as citizens in the United States and the New York Constitution. Going back to the proximity to the city has claimed itself as a sanctuary city, right? Many of the current leadership in Irondequoit kind of positions themselves very similar to that. Very dangerous. Talk to us on how you're going to deal with that.
So first and foremost, our police department does a great job protecting the citizens of Irondequoit. They are a small force in number, and they can't be everywhere. So Ridge Road has become an area where there's a lot of crime. And basically, I don't have the luxury, if I was to be the supervisor, to push back on some type of federal movement. If ICE comes into Irondequoit, I want them to do the right thing, to follow laws, to have integrity, treat people with respect. But I can't make that call to either be supportive or denying of either a sanctuary city or ICE. What's first and foremost for Irondequoit citizens is safety. Mm-hmm. How we get there, I'm going to leave that to the experts that are in law enforcement, that are in the New York State law enforcement and the federal government. But there are rules and laws. I abide by those laws and rules, and those should be equally applied to all people in America, not just Irondequoit citizens.
So you will let law enforcement, or you will take advice from your law enforcement. Well, what a concept. Imagine if most leaders did that.
Subject matter experts. Let the SMEs, the subject matter expert, consult with them, hear what they have to say, and then as a leader, make a decision. And some of those decisions are sometimes hard, but you have to make decisions for the best of the people.
Lieutenant Colonel, retired United States Air Force, Anthony Costanza, Irondequoit Town Supervisor candidate. Sir, you've got about 30 seconds to share with our listeners why they should vote for you.
You should vote for me because I am the future of Irondequoit. Okay, so my opponent has been on the council for 17 years. What great ideas does he have that he's been holding in his back pocket for 17 years? I have a proven track record of managing billions of dollars and leading thousands of people in the military. And everywhere I went, I've produced results. And this business is about producing results for the people, for all people, for Republicans, Democrats, conservatives. And that's basically it. If you want to move forward, Irondequoit, you know how to vote. And that's Anthony Costanza.
Give your website one more time, sir.
www.irondequoit, Irondequoit1st.com.
There you go, Irondequoit1st.com. The Honorable C. Lieutenant Colonel, retired United States Air Force, running for your supervisor, to be your supervisor in Irondequoit. Sir, thank you for your time.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you to the audience for listening in.
Yeah, John Perticone, I'm going to say it again. I am offering you not just equal time, but for an opportunity for you to debate these two fine gentlemen, Andre Evans and the Honorable Anthony Costanza. Take me up on that. Mira, it's all about this. See, be a leader, be a leader, be a leader. God bless these United States of America. And if you're listening somewhere, remember this. Don't let a second go by like these great people that I bring on, where you are not a voice for liberty. We'll see you tomorrow.
Picture this. A mother of three finally turned